bottom, and sometimes you can just flatten out that sand and rather than digging or doing any excess labor. One of the greatest advantages of these, they take away the hard work of summer, all the tilling and the mowing and the weed pulling, and we want to keep these as low maintenance as possible. So you do want to keep it well insulated. It's just like a home where your insulation is only as good as its weakest point. That said, there's a little bit of controversy here. See this opening here? Okay. Some people swear by it, others say don't do it. Okay, Elliot Coleman is kind of a foremost expert on this topic. He lives in Maine. So I kind of don't blame him for keeping it blocked off. Okay. My first attempt at this, I kept it very well insulated. I found it was getting too moist, too much condensation in there. So play around.
Okay.
Start with this. I'm going to weather strip this if I'm not happy with the temperatures. So this will be my first year trying it with a little venting there. We'll see how it goes. Untreated lumber, brick, masonry blocks, concrete, metal are all good materials. I chose cedar because it's really light.
Okay.
And I can move around the yard. So 1 to 2 inch thick lumber. Keep it bottomless so the water can drain out. The classic size, now you can go online and find umpteen million ideas for cold frames. And different county extension offices have actually experimented with this. We try to stay as science-based as we can. So this is what seems to work best. 12 inches in back, 8 in front. That allows for about a 6-inch soil depth. A glass or polycarbonate sash. If you live any colder than our gardening zone, glass is recommended.
Okay.
Quick pop quiz. Do you know what zone we're in here?
7A? 7B. Oh, 7. Okay.
No, for the longest time it was 6B. And the USDA just upgraded us. We've been promoted. So in zone 7, we don't have to be as sensitive as Nome, Alaska. All right. And then optional, if you're nervous about rodents or anything getting underneath it, would be hardware cloth or chicken wire on the bottom.
Okay.
That's something that still allows some drainage. Near the beginning of planting, what's recommended is light liquid fertilizer. Roughly every couple weeks, some people don't fertilize at all and have success. Gardening, I find, is as much art as it is science. So you're going to play around and follow the science as much as you can. So the sash is lowered at night, obviously to protect it, possibly with blankets over it or pads. The temperatures during the day, you want to keep between 60 to 70. And then try to keep it at 60 at night. Now, by the time you're in the vegetable crisper season, you can go a little lower.
Okay.
It's like the kale that you see growing in the winter or something. And that's while the plants are dormant and you're blissfully harvesting. As it snows, or we've got a shedding sycamore tree that throws its leaves down all year, you want to keep this dusted off to keep the light coming in. So. Yes, I mentioned the south facing. So, and I put ours up to the siding of the house. One other thing about the construction is that the steeper the angle, the more light you're going to get. And my very first year, it was flat. If you go too steep, they're going to cook in the Treasure Valley. Okay, it's great again for zone 3. But I just do a slight angle. And that's been working best for me. So, and then just for watering, keep soil moist to about 1 inch below the surface and keep checking it continually to choose your watering. You don't want to over or under water. That's usually during the warmer months. Again, during the winter, you're not doing much. What to plant is always a master gardener's favorite question. So I plant what you eat. Okay. But here are some ideas for the cold weather crops. You will want to harvest when the temperatures are above freezing. It's a breed of lettuce. Yeah. There are some winter hardy lettuce varieties to try. So when are you going to plant? The Farmer's Almanac, either the print copy or the website, has usually the first and last frost dates. I know that for 2022, our first frost date is going to be October 14th.
Okay.
Okay. They have not announced the 2023 last frost date, so keep your eye on that. But typically we go late April, early May, and then our first frost dates mid-October roughly. So for warm season summer plants and seeds, if you want to get some of your hot warm season temperature plants going 4 to 6 weeks before the first spring frost. You can also use it to harden up any seedlings that you grow indoors under a grow light before you put them in your garden. Are you familiar with hardening off?
A little bit.
Okay. If you're growing tomatoes indoors, you don't just take them from the indoors and then plunk them in your garden. They've got to acclimate. So for hardening off, what I'll do is I'll put them out there and then gradually raise the sash until they get used to the temperatures. All right, and then here's your raised bed during the summer. So I like to plant for successive crops. So I'll plant a new batch of seeds every week. And that way they grow at different rates and you keep getting them. So. And then again, you've got the vegetable crisper, and when you're in the mood for something fresh, you can just go harvest it during the winter. So if you head to Pinterest, an old saying, trust me, I know what I'm doing, I saw this on Pinterest. You see all kinds of ideas for them. This is pretty close to what I'm doing. The angle's a bit steeper. I think this person's in Minnesota, so it makes a little more sense. I wouldn't even attempt that, personally. But that's just me.
It's like a cabinet door.
Yeah, no, totally. And so my very first attempt, my neighbor was remodeling, and I asked for their shower door that they'd left out front, and I put it on top of hay bales.
Oh.
Okay. I couldn't get much to grow, so, but that's just me. Again, there's the art and science factor, right? Feel free to experiment. I'm telling you what's worked best for people. So I like some of these raised ideas are great for the arthritic and the elderly.
Mm-hmm.
This is if you're just doing the potted plants. Overwintering, that's one idea. And here are some of my species. Do you have any questions or anything I didn't cover?
I know your thing said to start planting before the first frost. So if you were wanting stuff over the winter for this year, it's too late. You would be starting for in the spring, or
no? In fact, I think unofficially you can like get planting before. I would get transplants at least out before November 15th.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. But for seeds, yeah.
Okay.
I'd get those going pretty quickly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, last year I just used like a little tiny indoor greenhouse, so I wasn't able to grow too much, but I'm excited to try something like this. I think this would be fun.
Yeah, it is neat. And like I said, if you just do the kit, my goal is to add one each year.
Yeah.
Along the side of my house, so. Questions? One. I was thinking more peppers. Right. Now there's are you familiar with the square foot gardening? The little 4x4 plots. He's trying to claim you can put multiple tomatoes. And I'm like, I stupidly tried that one year before my master gardening years. Don't.
You don't want to see my tomatoes this year. I call it my tomato jungle.
I know. Oh, it's not been a good year for a lot of people. So that is my time up.